Hi everybody, it's me, Vie Darling, and this is the pick a card for the new moon. So here we have a pile 1 with red jasper. Here we have pile 2 with clear crystal quartz. And here we have pile 3 with what doesn't really look like rose quartz, but I promise you that it is rose quartz, and it's just not very pink, but I promise that it is rose quartz. I got it during lockdown at Clementine Bakery, and it is pink. You just can't really see it. So I'm gonna read from my pocket book of stones what each stone means at the beginning of each pile, and yeah, let's get into it. Hello, pile 1. Welcome to your reading. This is red jasper is the stone that you chose if you chose a stone. And I'm gonna read from the book, the pocket book of stones. And this one is really helpful for me to feel empowered. So keywords here are physical strength and vitality, stabilization of one's energies, root chakra, sexual creative, that's the second chakra, that's the sacral or svadhisthana, and the element of earth. So this is really a lot about grounding here. Physical enhances strength and energy, encourages recovery from physical weakness due to illness. Useful in generating muscle tissue, can enhance effects of exercise. Supports the circulatory and respiratory systems. Yes, so helps with blood flow and breathing. Healing and regeneration and renewal. Emotional, aids in releasing attachment to negative emotional or sexual experiences. So this is like trauma healing, and this is womb chakra clearing. Spiritual, stimulates root chakra, supports rising of the Kundalini energy. Red jasper can help enhance one's endurance and stamina, and can work overtime to increase the amount of chi or life force in one's energetic field. It strengthens the root chakra and deepens one's connection to the earth. It enhances memory, especially of dreams or other inner experiences. So already I feel like Spirit is saying that it's important for you to get grounded. It's important to meditate on the earth star chakra. There's a lot that needs to be let go of to be able to really get into touch with oneself. One thing that I feel like here is that you may be over-identifying with past traumas, and you need to let that go in order to transcend into the situation that you want to be in. And just to move on and to advance and grow in your life. So such stabilization can lead to good health, balanced emotions, truthful expression, and just actions. This stone has a kind of down-to-earth nobility that simply rubs off on the owner. Red jasper does its work gradually, but it offers the advantage that the gains one makes are more permanent than those achieved with different stones or other methods. So this is about long-lasting change. This is about long-lasting, like, what is the word? This is about our blessings having longevity. They're not just superficial, like, material things coming into our life. Like, what's coming in now with this new moon, like, if you set your intentions right, it's going to have longevity in your life. It's going to really take hold. It's going to ground into your life. And I would really say, once again, meditate on the earth star chakra. Be able to, meditation helps us to get outside of oneself, outside of ourselves rather, that's the proper grammar there. Meditation helps us get outside of ourselves, get out of our mind and into spirit. And meditating on the earth star chakra, I feel like, is really going to help us get grounded, connect to our ancestors, connect to Mother Earth, and, you know, figure out how it is that we want to be of service to the collective. And once we're in service to the collective, once we're in service to a power greater than ourselves, once we're giving back to the collective as something that we are a part of, we're giving to ourselves as well. And it's just this beautiful reciprocal relationship that happens. And I do think that a lot has been coming up about reciprocity in the past. A lot has been coming up about reciprocity. I know like other readers like always have their hands in the screen and stuff, so whatever, I'm gonna try that. It's a little bit difficult because I am sitting kind of far away from my desk, just because like my tripod is like between my legs in this very funky way. But yeah, so, and there's nothing interesting to look at here. I haven't had my nails done in a while, but that aside, like doing this work is going to really set us up for generational wealth is what I'm seeing here. So, you know, you really want to work with this and be mindful of it. And so the bottom of the deck, I guess like people consider to be like hidden influences. And so it's saying take a break, a life's work, not a season, get off the treadmill. And what I do feel for this is like, what I feel for this information that we are getting with this energy is like a life's work, not a season, get off the treadmill. So I'm actually just like looking at the chart as well. And it is about freedom. It is about freedom from these systems of just like run, go, getting caught up and having to do what we don't actually like to do, or what we don't feel like we want to do, what doesn't actually resonate with the reality of who we are, because we're afraid of what's going to happen if we don't. This is saying like, I feel like it's really pretty straightforward actually. Like, you don't have to go ham with every single thing that you do all the time. Like, the muse will come to you in different realms of your life, and it's okay to just give that amount of energy to that thing that's like becoming important to you right now. You don't have to do everything all the time. You don't have to run all the time. You can just chill sometimes and really make time for enjoyment, make time for just taking care of yourself. Because if you look at this person, like, I'm going to use my Apple pen to just like point out things. If you look at this person, she is just sitting here enjoying the water. She has like all these like weird little things around here. And I feel like those are like spiritual influences, unseen magical forces. And it kind of reflects what's going on up here. And it's just like, you know, it reminds me of the card in this deck that says, like, dance with life. Like, enjoy your life. Don't forget that, like, that's what we're here to do. It's not just about our mission, like, in this, like, oh, God, what do I got to do? What do I got to do? Like, your mission is to enjoy life so that you can teach other people how to enjoy life. Your mission is to be as free-spirited as possible so that other people can see that. So, like, if you are feeling, like, burnt out, stop going. Like, take a break. And if you need to change direction. I feel like a lot of people are feeling burnt out. I feel like a lot of people are feeling like they're burning both ends of the wick, trying to do stuff that you used to do in the past. It's just not working for you. And it's like, okay to let go of that. It's more than okay. It's actually being encouraged, because like, we're making space for new things to come in. When I was looking for apartments recently, like, there were times when I wanted to settle on spaces that I knew were not to my standard, but I didn't. Like, there was one apartment before I even had, like, I was subletting a place in September, but before I even started subletting that place, there was an apartment that I was offered. It was really cheap, but it was also, like, gross in my opinion, and it was in a neighborhood that I didn't want to live in, like, and I was thinking about it, and I could have, like, mentally I could convince myself to do it, but like in my heart I didn't want to, and so I chose to follow my heart. And yeah, that ended up like extending the period of me looking, which was really quite stressful for me and like triggered a lot in me. But it's better that I be triggered in the space of freedom and openness, like, oh, I still have options and I'm not tied to something that I don't want to do that's draining my energy, versus being in a situation that I'm stuck, that I feel stuck in because I made this commitment to it and I hate it, and that's also draining my energy and triggering me. You know what I mean? Like, I feel really good about sticking to my standards of what I wanted for myself, even though there was discomfort around that. And there were cycles breaking around that. And that's what's happening here, is like cycles are breaking around that. And so I just encourage you to like let go of your preconceived notions of what is for you and what is not for you, and what's going to work for you and what's not going to work for you, because it's very likely that like there's a miracle on its way to you and you just haven't seen it because you're too busy being not present, being outside of your body, because that comes back to the red Jasper, which is saying like, you know, you're not being present, you're not being in your body, and you're not even feeling how exhausted you've been. And that's why you get burnt out, is because you're not being present. Maybe it means that it's time for you to take a break from drinking. Some of you, I think, that's what Spirit is saying, is like for some people, it's time to take a stop from drinking or smoking weed or whatever you like to do. For some people, for a lot of people, it definitely has to do with workaholism. Like it has to do with going too hard in this quote unquote toxic quote unquote productivity culture. Which you only have to feel like you have to do all of those things because you feel like not good enough and like you can't, like you'll never get it. So you have to like work. But if you're just working because you feel like you're never going to get it, you're just creating more situations that are keeping you from getting it. So if you were to just slow down, get grounded, like get your bearings back, regenerate your strength. Like if you were just able to do that for a moment, for a season, you would be able to like clear space and time and get clear-headed and see that like there are more like beneficial things coming to you than what you are experiencing right now. And like it's time for you to just pause and like lean into that. The next card under the deck is Anna, Grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. And I feel like that to me is saying like so much of this process is about timing, and you are divinely held. You are divinely supported. Like God's got you. Goddess has got you. Like whatever you think, like you can't do any of this alone. You're not doing any of this alone. And you need to just ground into your support. Like coming back to this red Jasper, like you just really need to ground into your support and ask for help. We are easing into a paradigm of interdependence instead of like colonial capitalistic self-reliance and overly independent toxic masculine way of being, or completely relying on others to sustain us, which is toxic feminine energy. Like the balance is like understanding that you are spiritually supported, but you need to ask for help. Today I was having a conversation with a friend where I was like spiritual energies and entities that are benevolent, that are good, that are helpful, will never force themselves on you. First of all, spiritual entities can't force themselves on us. We have to consent. And good, healthy, holy, divine energies will never force themselves on us. They will not manipulate us. That's why, like, if you are sensing an energy and you just ask, like, who is this? What is this energy? Who are you? Identify yourself. It will identify itself. Energy always will identify itself. So if you're somebody who has like been afraid, like, well, what I was saying is like, spiritually, like our angels, ancestors, guides, higher power wants to help us, but we have to open up and allow them to help us. And this is what Spirit is saying to me for you, Pile 1, is that you need to open up and allow Spirit to help you, because you've been pushing back against Spirit for so long that like you feel like you have to go it alone, but Spirit is saying you don't have to go it alone, and I don't want you to. with the Starseed card in the reverse. And really tap into your spiritual ancestral lineage, your spiritual lineage. Tap into that, because that's gonna like really, really buoy you up, and it's going to clarify a lot that needs to be cleared out right now, because this stone also has to do with trauma. All of this is a trauma response to like the idea that there's not enough, but there is enough. And so there's like deep with Starseed, what lights you up, I feel like there's deep, deep healing of the spiritual self that needs to come in here. And you have to remember who you are, and you have to get back to who you are. And I think, of course, like we have Star Mother as the card that's under that, and Boundaries is in reverse, but I don't think that like Spirit is saying like we don't need to go into all of that. So Star Mother, how can you mother yourself? Like, I think that's what you need to focus on with your spiritual questions, is like, how can I mother myself? How can, like, what comforts can I bring to myself? And what I would encourage you to look at is the sign of Cancer in your chart and the 4th house in your chart. The 4th house is going to tell you like things that need to be healed ancestrally from your childhood, stuff like that comes up a lot when you're depressed, crestfallen, that sort of thing. So you're going to want to look at those parts of your chart to look at what you can add. But I guarantee you that if you just meditate on it for a few minutes, it will come to you. Like, what do I want in my life? I want to be happy. I want fulfilling relationships. I want to fall in love. I want to have friends who care about me and who I feel safe with. Like, I want to, I want to travel. I want to do this. I want to do that. And once you see those things, be ready, because what comes next with the full moon is letting things go. The awareness becomes clear to us. It becomes clear to us what can stay and what cannot stay, because it either is or is not serving our benefit. So if things cannot stay, it's really just best to let them go. And that is a hard pill to swallow, trust me, I know. But whatever has to go, just let go of it. And going back to that idea of jobs or like relationships, like all relationships in life, it's this way, like, oh, but like I need this thing. But okay, if you have a job that doesn't allow you to travel, but you want to travel, then why do you have this job if a job is just a means to an end? If you're ready to settle down, because I feel like with the Star Mother here, some of you actually want to start a business. Some of you want to actually start a business and you don't know how you're going to do it, but like you need to get out of your own way and stop doing things that drain your energy so that you don't have time or energy to work on your business. You need to stop doing things that make you feel sick and sad and sorry so that you can have the energy necessary to actually pursue your business. Relationships with people in your life who are not feeding that for you, people who are basically, if you want to be extraordinary and you know that you're extraordinary and you know that you're great, because this new moon, like, we're really starting to recognize and stand in our greatness and stand in our power. And if you know that somebody's vibe, you just don't mess with it because they don't want to be great. They don't want to actualize their potential. They just want to steal your energy and suck off your energy. If you know that that's happening, then I really encourage you to say no more. Like, I'm not engaging with this anymore, and just cut them off, because it's as if being a baby in the womb and the umbilical cord and like getting the nutrients from the mother. Like, how are we creating a universe or a life that is beneficial to us if we are filling ourselves and filling our own inner matrix with toxicity? So it's really, this season is time to get rid of all of that toxic stuff. And if you're not sure what it is, what toxic relationships you have, because Libra has everything to do with relationships. If you know that things do not align with your integrity, with the person that you're becoming, with your spiritual principles, it's time to get rid of those things. And I would recommend, just like, once again, meditate on it. Ask God to reveal to you what those hidden influences are. Ask God to reveal them to you in Sisterhood of the Rose. Beauty, devotion, priestess, mystic, teacher. Once again, it's a sisterhood of the rose. We don't do any of this alone. It is a collective energy. So we are being taken out of like the doldrums and feeling like our energy is being wasted and it's being stolen from us, and it's being like, and that could be a job. It could also be a friend group. It could be a specific person in your life, but you just need to let go with grace, gratitude, and love, and like create that space for the loving, healthy, positive relationships that are going to help you to become spiritually the person that you need to be, so that you can continue to attract the things that were set out for you in your lifetime in general. Okay, so that's it for pile 1. Thank you so much for watching. What I realize now is that like okay, well, anyways, that's it for pile 1. Thank you for watching. I appreciate and I love you guys, and I will see you soon. Hi, pile 2. How are you? If you chose this pile, you chose clear quartz. I'm gonna really get pile 1 out of here. If you chose this pile, you chose clear quartz. So I'm gonna read to you a little bit about it. And keywords: programmability, amplification of one's intention, magnification of ambient energies, clearing, cleansing, healing, memory. It's good for all chakras, the storm element. So this has to do with Aquarius, which is unsurprising. As I'm making this video, Neptune is retrograde in Aquarius in the 9th house. So there's a lot of spiritual stuff going on. There's a lot of collective consciousness going on. And I even feel like there might be like some like expansion of your clair gifts, clair audio, clair sentience, that sort of thing, clair cognizance, and a lot of downloads coming in. And I think that it's really important that you honor them and listen to them. Physical: offers support for the nervous system, can be programmed to assist in any type of healing. Emotional: can be used to intensify feelings and or heal the emotional body. Spiritual: enhances one's clarity, aids communication with spirit guides. That's what I was saying. Can be used to intensify feelings and or heal the emotional body. Clear quartz, aka rock crystal, is by far the most versatile multi-dimensional stone in the mineral realm. 3 of its key properties are energy amplification, programmability, and memory. Clear quartz is also a stone of light, bringing heightened spiritual awareness to whoever wears, carries, or meditates with it. It provides a clear corridor for the higher vibrational frequencies of the realm of spirit. Clear quartz can be used to amplify the energies of other stones. It is the perfect base material for energy tools such as wands, staffs, templates. Clear quartz crystals are also ideal for making energy grids, patterned layouts of crystals on the ground or floor within which one can sit or lie in order to receive the energies generated by the combination of the quartz and the geometric form of the grid. Clear quartz can be used for almost any metaphysical purpose, including healing, consciousness expansion, chakra opening, communication with guides, past life recall, interdimensional travel, polarity balancing, enhancement of meditation and dreaming, attracting and sending love, generating prosperity, etc. Beneficially harmonizes with all other stones. So I feel pile 2, you are in a space of metaphysical growth and enhancement. Your healing gifts are expanding right now. Your consciousness is expanding right now. You're taking steps further into your gifts, into your practice. You are really starting to fall in love with the energy that you carry, whereas perhaps you did not love so much being different. Perhaps you have the witch's rune, which means that you have like an ancestral inheritance of the memory of persecution for practicing indigenous or ancestral forms of spirituality, pre-colonization. But what I really feel is like there's a lot of healing going on where perhaps you used to hate yourself for being a black sheep, or perhaps like you may even be the kind of person who's like, oh, like, you know, really punk and like nobody can mess with me, I don't give a fuck, that kind of energy. But actually you do give a fuck, you give a lot of fucks, and you're just actually like super scared of being seen and experienced and felt. So you pretend like you don't care, but you actually really do. I get the sense that this is maybe what we're getting from you. And it also gives me this energy of like plays well with others is coming up for crystal quartz. And I kind of see this as being like, you really know how to lay it on thick and present yourself as somebody who doesn't care about if they're being ostracized or if they're being different, but that you actually really do, and you actually really want to find community and be accepted, and feel supported. And perhaps that's something that, like, you know, I think that with this new moon, you're really starting to figure out who your people are and become clear on what's important to you in your relationships. I feel that it's really about honoring who you are, and it's okay that you didn't know better in the past because you just didn't have the tools. You just didn't have the information to know better in the past. But like now that you're learning better, you are making the better decisions, and I'm proud of you, and Spirit's proud of you too. I think that what Spirit wants to convey here, pile 2, is that other people don't need to understand you for you to be valid. Like, you came here on a mission to change the world, and you don't very well do that by playing small. You don't very well do that by pretending to be someone that you're not. You do that by actually like being yourself. So bottom of the deck is the hidden energy, and it's keepers of the earth in reverse. You are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. I think that really obviously goes with everything that I just said. But in this case, I don't really read reverses, but I do internalize it as this is an internal energy. This is something that's like happening within us, or maybe we're standing in our own way. And I do feel like that's what's happening here is like, you know, with this new moon, you're really starting to really give yourself and surrender to the truth of who you are, which is that like you're a daughter of the moon, you're a daughter of the earth, or like a child of God, like, you know, a star seed, also like whatever. You are a person with a higher form of consciousness who has come here to, who is incarnated at this time to usher in this new heaven, new earth parallel. And, you know, you can't live in both worlds at the same time. You have to choose one, because that is just going to cause division, and it's going to cause confusion, and it's going to cause issues in your life. Like, you're going to be the one who has to deal with the struggles of your disingenuous nature. And you're going to wonder why you don't have the people around you that you want to have, and why do you feel tired? Because you're being fake. And not for nothing, that's not because you necessarily want to be, but it's like, as with the clear quartz, you're super adaptable, and you are also super compassionate, and I feel like this is a very like Piscean energy, a very Piscean energy. So you might be a Pisces, or have Pisces sun, moon, rising, Venus, any of those like personal placements. So you could be very adaptable, and also compassionate and sensitive and empathic and intuitive, and like, oh, like I want to make everyone feel loved. I want to be understanding of everyone. Like, everyone's unique, and that's something that I honor. But like, if that uniqueness is causing harm in any type of way, especially towards you, or it's just not serving you, it's draining you, whatever, like, it's something that has to be dealt with and addressed. Even if it's not with the other person, it has to be dealt with and addressed within ourselves. So whatever it is, like whatever ways in which you are committing these little self-betrayals, and this is really on par because it is a Libra new moon that I'm making this video. Of course, the insights are always relevant and helpful, but this is when I'm making it now. You know, that is not going to help you to be fake. It's not going to help you to find the people that you want to be. Like, yeah, you might be popular, but for all the wrong reasons. And you're going to be surrounded by all of these people who drain your energy and who you don't really like very much. And in the most likely case, it can be a lot of mean girl energy, actually. Like, it can be a lot of like frenemy energy with Libra. So even if it's like, is it you're popular and people like you, but also they're afraid of you, or you're like passive aggressive because you're afraid of just being direct and honest with people, I feel like is the energy that I'm getting here. And Spirit is saying like, you don't need to do that. And it's actually corroding your spiritual energy, your spiritual wellness. So that's the bottom of the deck. And the initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold, and the pillar of light in the reverse position. Your vibration is rising. You are the oracle, and rite of passage, crossing the threshold. So how I feel about these two cards is they're so completely opposite, don't you see? And I really read this as like, this is the internal energy. And you see this looks like a pelvis, right? This looks like a pelvis. So that's the womb energy. This is like divine feminine creative energy. These are angel wings here. There are rainbows here. You know, this is who you are on the inside, but you're standing in the way of being that person because you're so concerned with being liked. And then we have the initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold on this side, where it's like, it's leading to that place. So all of the hardships that you've been experiencing as of late have been leading you to this place. And it may be that you have been saying no to these past relationships where you had to betray yourself and you had to act as a different version of yourself. And I would say set intentions around that. Set intentions around how to best let go of, or best allow relationships to be transformed so that they serve your highest good. Because I would also ask Archangel Michael for help with transmuting those cords and those like for those tethers to relationships and to people, because that's what Archangel Michael does. I would also say that like really look into violet flame. The violet flame, I understand it to be Christ consciousness energy, but it is like, I think Saint Augustus or Augustine like created the concept of violet flame or something like that. I don't know, but I would really say to use violet flame on yourself when you're starting to feel triggered, because when we are triggered, it is not something about others that's triggering us, it's about us. So stop acting out of trauma, because this is, oh my God, this is what this is. This is big time. Like there's fight, flight, or fawn energy. There's fight, flight, or fawn energy. And this is big time. Like you have been fawning. Oh, and freeze. Fight, flight, freeze, fawn. There's been a lot of freezing and a lot of fawning, and there's been this build up of sickness and shadow that you have been on the outside of, and you've been walking through that energy. And then we have this thunder, this lightning bolt, which has to do with, like I said, Aquarius. And I also said Neptune, which is the modern co-ruler of Pisces, is in Aquarius. It's in the 9th house. That has to do with Sagittarius, which might be where I'm getting that like jubilation, that like, I mean, anyway. The point is, it's in the 9th house. It has to do with expanded perception, and that expanded perception has also to do with like, as I said, you didn't know what you didn't know before. You didn't, like, a lot of this, these are like, it's trauma responses. It's trauma healing that has to happen here. It's not like, oh, I wanted to be disingenuous. Oh, and like, I'm sorry for like whatever happened to you that caused you to have to feel. I'm just like plugging my laptop in. That caused you to feel like you had to show up in this certain way, because that is just like, it sucks. It sucks to find out that you've been betraying yourself. And I've been through the same exact thing, where I had to realize like my trauma response to people who like made me feel really shitty about myself, like my trauma response was to hide from conflict by being really, really, really nice and being like, if I show up better, like maybe I'm doing something wrong. Because that's like part of my trauma. Like if I show up better, if I'm nicer, if I'm like perfect, then finally they will understand that I'm valuable and not treat me this way. That's not how it happens, especially if it has to do with a narcissistic relationship, a toxic relationship, or a narcissistic relationship. It's not about being perfect. You can never be perfect enough. You can never be enough for a narcissist. Any relationship where somebody just doesn't like you, even where they just like, you're just not for me, like that kind of a person, like there's nothing that you can do. You can just be yourself and people are not going to like you. And that's something that has to be accepted. So like with this expanded perception, it's like because of the consciousness expansions that we've all been experiencing, like, and also the dissolution of like sorcery and spells on our consciousness and our third eyes and all of these veils that we had on top of us to keep us from being able to really maximize our sight and clairsentience and all that sort of thing. Like we've received this information. And it has led us to this paradise, but we have to step through that threshold, and we have to get out of our own way and understand how powerful we are, that we are the makers of worlds, that the same energy that lives inside of us, that divine spark, is the same energy that creates planets and galaxies in this universe. And that we are powerful. And that our choices have consequences. Our actions have consequences, because karma is the Sanskrit word for action. So what I'm saying is, definitely I want you to do a heart chakra opening meditation. I want you to do like a cacao ceremony maybe. Really, really work on self-compassion. And I feel like that's coming in here. I feel like that's definitely something that's coming in. But yeah, I would say like really spend time with your ancestors, angels, and guides. Like really spend time doing some divination. Really spend time with your angels, ancestors, and guides right now, because there are a lot of downloads that are available for you that are going to be really helpful for you to get really clear on. And I would also just recommend, be honest, speak your truth. How can you empower your throat chakra? How can you empower your sacral chakra? Getting those two things in balance is what's most important for you. And so the last card that we're pulling, I think, is call back your power. Cut the cords, soul retrieval. Call back your power. Cut the cords. We have an eclipse here. I think it's a lunar eclipse. The moon is in front of the sun. So break those ties, to those unhealthy relationships. And also it could have been that these relationships already ended, and it is because they were fated to, because they were not for you in this spiritual space that you're entering to. What God sets for you, like, God's timing is perfect, is what I have to remind myself of, because I want certain things to happen in the timeline that I want them to happen. Like, I wanted to, and I'm just using examples from currently in my life. Like, I wanted an apartment at the time I wanted an apartment, but like, I have found a space that really seems to be a good space for me, and it took longer than I would have liked it to, but that's okay because it all happened anyway. And I wanted a job when I wanted a job, but I really didn't want to be a barista again. And so like, things happened in the time that they were supposed to happen, by me sticking to my standards, by me like not lowering myself. And I do feel like that has a lot to do with Libras. Like, what are your standards? Okay, you got this like platinum standard, this silver standard. Do not go below that, because you tell the universe that you're worth less than that and that you're willing to accept less than that. If it's a matter of like a lack of patience, ask for help, you know, figure out other things to do and other ways to direct your energy in the meantime while you're waiting for your divine inheritance to come in, your blessed assurance to come in. Like, take that time and invest it into doing other things, because sometimes we just got to let shit go and let the universe work it out for us. We already set the intention, let the universe work it out for us. What left our life in the past seasons of loss, it is important to grieve those things, but we don't want those things back because they were not helpful or healthy for us. There's a Jenny Holzer quote from her Truisms project. I think it's protect me from what I want. Protect me from what I want. Because I guarantee you that old life, it's like the Gilded Age. On the surface, it looks like really shiny and pretty and valuable, but inside it's like a bunch of poop, you know? So like, look at it. This is what you are exiting out of. And once you get out here, that might be disorienting, and it might be like, oh my God, it's so bright, my eyes, because you need time to adjust to this paradise. But really, like, think back on it. Do you really want to go back into this disgusting place? Like, look at that. Do you really want to go back into that? And that there are snakes there, like snakes in your garden. Do you really want to go back to like that kind of energy? And it's just decay and darkness, like the valley of the shadow of death. Like, do you really want to go back into that? Because I don't. So we have this pillar of light. It may take some adjusting, but just ask for, like, set your intentions on helping you to be able to adjust, helping you to stand in your power, to be in your power, because I promise you it's feeling real good. It's feeling real good as you like download these new gifts and like this new information is coming in, and it is guiding you to where you want to be in the future. So Council of Light, divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms, and unbound in the reverse. And what does that mean? That means ask for help, like I said. Tune in to, as I said, like, talk to your ancestors, angels, guides, pray more, meditate more, unbound in the reverse. Allow that, the releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives, allow that stuff to leave you. Because look at this. You're getting it from them. You're getting it from them. They're channeling it down from here, your higher self. And when you actually allow it to fill you up, as you can see, she's the color that's there, that same color there, that same kind of color there, she is that color. Allow it to empower you and embolden you and to change the way that you perceive things and the way that you saw the past. And don't allow yourself to fall back into those old patterns. Let it go. Let it be released, and ask for as much help as you need. Do whatever you need to do. Piecing it together like a puzzle. This process you've been going through is a process of getting free and liberating yourself and finding self-sovereignty, and that is what that's what spiritual abolition is about. It's about getting free, specifically from like our own old patterns of doing and being and ways of being that we thought were protecting us. But what protected us in the fire? What protected us in the fire? Let me see if I can like make this clear. What protected us in the fire, as you can see, that like root chakra, lower vibrational stuff, that's like 4th house and beyond, like 1st through 4th house. What protected us in the fire is not, it is not what is going to help us to thrive in the garden. Trusting in our higher power, trusting in our spiritual team is going to help us thrive in the garden. So that's all I've got for you, pile 2. I hope that's helpful. Maybe your question that you want to meditate on and set your intentions about is like, how can I thrive in the garden? But I will see you all later. Hi, pile 3. Welcome to this pick a card. So we are doing this for the Libra New Moon, Sidereal Libra New Moon of 2021. But whenever you watch this is whenever this message is pertinent and helpful. So go ahead and enjoy it. If you pick this pile, it is rose quartz. And I know it doesn't look like a rose quartz. It kind of looks like a crystal quartz, but I promise you it's rose quartz. And the keywords from the Pocket Book of Stones by Robert Simmons are love, gentleness, emotional healing, release of stress, uniting with the divine. Of course, because there's like so much heart chakra clearing going on here. So it's related to the 4th chakra, the heart chakra, the 𝗕𝗏𝗧. Water is the element, physically supports the heart in healing from trauma and or disease, emotionally aids in releasing past wounds, teaches trust and hope. Spiritually encourages spirituality of love, links one with the Great Mother. I love that for us. That has everything to do with what I already said in the astrology video, which this is actually, I'm going to make this available to YouTube and the public, but the astrology video is on my Patreon. So if you're interested in receiving that, I would recommend subscribing to the page tier at least. And then you receive all of the videos, all of the astrology videos. But these pick a cards specifically to do with like astrological movements and that sort of thing. Well, pick a cards are going to be on the YouTube channel, but usually we do a spread, and then we do an extended with clarifiers for 2 different tiers of the Patreon. So all the same, rose quartz, I talked about this in the astrology for Libra season, and yeah, I'd recommend go watching it. Rose quartz is this pure stone of love for oneself, one's partner, children, family, friends, community, the earth, the universe, and the divine. Meditating with rose quartz brings an envelope of love around oneself and activates the heart chakra. Healing the heart of its wounds and reawakening its trust are among rose quartz's gifts. Its soothing vibrations are a balm to the emotions, and they calm and cleanse the entire auric field. I'm just going to go right out and say it, like, the energy of this new moon is so balancing and so loving and so gentle. And it just is such a good feeling. It's like a caress. This one specifically, this pile specifically, feels like a rose petal on the cheek. Like, that's what it feels like. So its soothing vibrations are a balm to the emotions, and they calm and cleanse the entire auric field, which I feel like that's true because it's coming in like we have been coming out of a real tough period for a lot of people where it has felt like we have been being squeezed. And it's because we're in a rebirth period. And people, like, tropically, it may be Scorpio season, but sidereally, it's not. And so I do feel like at Scorpio season tropically, sidereally, we're going to get there and we're going to have this like moment of rebirth and like new birth and renewal where we're like, oh, I'm here now. But for us in the present, that's not where we're at right now. We're still in the birthing phase. So if you're watching this and you're not watching it for the Libra New Moon, then what you should know is that you may be coming out of a time of a lot of density and a lot of pressure, and that stuff is like a lot of heaviness may be coming up and surfacing to be let go of and to be healed. But you are also like so supported and so loved, and like spirit just wants to ooze all this love all over you. So just like say yes. If you want to accept that love now, say yes. Like, yes, spirit, I accept this love. I want this love. Give it to me. Heal my heart. Love me, unconditionally, and allow me to feel this. Say yes. Like, I allow myself to receive this love. I allow myself to lean into this love and experience this love. And yeah, I'm open to receiving this. So those are the things that you're going to want to like just say yes to within yourself, because you're not quite at the end of this process of rebirth yet. And even when you do get to the end of the process of rebirth, it's still going to be a learning period where you have to get used to living in this energy and being in this energy. So, yeah, it links one's personal heart to the heart of the earth and the heart of the universe. And so I was saying in pile 1 that we ought to be doing, that they ought to be doing Earth Star Chakra meditations, and also, you can Earth Star Chakra meditations, and just with this specific lunation, it obviously has a lot to do with Libra, as I said, but that is like the throat chakra, the 7th chakra, and between the throat and it's not the 7th chakra, I apologize, it's the 5th chakra, but between the heart and the throat is the high heart, which is like the higher self heart. It is connected to 12th dimensional Christ consciousness. It is unconditional love. It is pure love that they're talking about in this. So if you want to meditate on this with like clear quartz on your heart chakra, if you want to meditate with selenite on your high heart, which is like right above your heart chakra, I would say like on your breastplate, I would really recommend that. And then like maybe getting some like celestite to meditate, or amazonite to meditate, or even blue kyanite. I would recommend meditating with that on your throat chakra. And I would really recommend black stones like onyx, black tourmaline, that sort of thing. I want to say jade, but that's not what I want. Jade, onyx, black tourmaline, obsidian on your root chakra. Yeah, so because it would really just help you to get a lot of that clearing, moving that chi, moving that energy. Because you don't need to do it alone, and this is like, you don't have to, and you shouldn't want to. Don't do it alone. Because this high heart healing is coming in, it is transforming you on these beautiful levels, like your mind, body, soul, like you're entering into a new level of consciousness here. It's very shiny. It's very like crystalline. It's, you know, the reformation of your third eye, your ajna, is happening here. And like your crown chakra, like you're really starting to wear your crown. You're really starting to own your sovereignty. You're really starting to become like the master of your domain. Its love vibrations can penetrate to the cellular level, reprogramming the cells for joy and longevity rather than despair and death. What did I say? Rose quartz can stimulate the crown, third eye, and throat chakras. Wow. Bringing them into harmony and unity with the heart. Even the lower chakras respond favorably to the abundance of love energy which flows from the heart under the influence of rose quartz. Rose quartz harmonizes with all stones. 𝗪𝗿𝗱𝗏 activates rose quartz's capacity for spiritual awakening through the power of love. If you're a Scorpio, then like really you are gonna need this, because like it can be so, Scorpios, and I mean Cancers too, but like Scorpios really like want to have this like I'm a badass, I'm a ride or die energy, and it's like you just need to soften up. Like nobody cares, nobody's impressed. Like, you big old softy, I know that you want love, I know that you want cuddles, and I also know that like you have been hurt in the past, and like you just need to like let us love you until you can love yourself and let that go. So yeah, there's transcendence that can be reached here through this rose quartz, I feel, and that's already so much. But so bottom of the deck, we have birthing a new age as the hidden influences, birthing new creation, shaming a new world into being. And once again, as I said with pile 2, I feel like there's this like, you don't know what you don't know. So you don't know like what you... Maybe, like, I'm not doing that. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm not doing that. Like, stop. Sorry. Like, I just felt called to, like, fuck around with the cards, and I'm just like, no, I'm not doing any nonsense. Like, just, please, just, like, be straightforward. But, I feel like the same thing that I said with pile 2, birthing a new age, birthing new creation, streaming a new world into being, is, like... And it's in the reverse position, so it means that like you're getting in your own way in regards to this, like letting ego get in the way of you leaning into this new way of being. Excuse me, where like it's like, sorry, solar plexus like activations. You don't know what you don't know. So perhaps before, like you know, in the process of awakening, when I was awakening, I had already studied so much about esoterics and occult and like theology, like religion. I was taking religion classes in high school. I grew up in the church, very scholarly. I like was studying the occult outside of that. I was studying like all kinds of anything to do with spirituality. I was always interested in, and I was studying that. And then when I went through my first awakening, when I was 18 years old, or like, I don't know, I was already awake, as I said. I was like born awake, but like I went through like my first major ascension when I was 18 in 2012 and 2013. And then I could like see things in a completely different way than I had ever seen them before. And the world was like Technicolor, and that happened again last year. And everything just shifted in my life. Everything just shifted into a new form of consciousness. And like, there was so much stuff that like I knew, but I wasn't practicing, and I knew it in theory, but I wasn't like praxis. But now that I'm on this other side of like that energetic shift, like I'm putting those things into practice and they're real to me, but I'm learning still new things, and those things are like more abstract concepts that are like I'm still practicing living them. But that's the nature of growth. It's like you don't just come into the awareness of something. Like it's born in you. It's the information is given to you, and you like start to embody it, and it starts to change your life, and you start to have your own experience with it. And that's what's happening. That's where you've been at. And I feel like there's maybe a crisis of faith that you're experiencing, where it's like you're still doing the things that you have been being told to do, but you're experiencing a crisis of faith. And that's kind of because it's like, well, why hasn't it happened yet? Because it wasn't the right time for it to happen yet. Quite frankly, you weren't ready for it to happen yet. And now that you're more and more ready, and you're getting more and more ready. So really what I think, like, intentions here, how can I better get myself into alignment with the things that I've been manifesting? Because you were not ready yet for them. They're there for you when you get to that point, but you haven't gotten there. And part of it has to do with fear. And part of it has to do with lack of faith. Because you don't believe, because you're not seeing it. Seeing is not believing. You know something? Maybe I never seen a mountain goat, but does that mean that they're not real? Seeing is not believing. You don't know everything. So you can allow that level of ignorance to be scary, or you can allow it to be a space of wild, infinite freedom where it's like anything can happen. And since anything can happen, I may as well dream big. What did I say? We're talking about awakenings, energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. You're receiving a lot of downloads right now, and it's probably just like kind of exhausting. Break the chain, ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. It may feel exhausting because it's like, let me show you this. You are the light in the darkness. And that's why I'm saying, like, it may feel exhausting because you have been walking in the darkness for so long. And you have been like, I'm doing the things, but I don't feel better. Or why is it that it's like taking so long for things to get better for me? Like, why? You know, and it's confusing and it's frustrating, and you want answers and you want things to be different. What I have to say to that is, I know it sucks. I know a dark night of the soul experience is not fun. It's dark night. It's scary and it's not fun. But what you can see here is that person in the cave, that like white spot there, they're glowing in the darkness. So in these times of dismay and discomfort, remember that divine spark that we've been talking about since the vernal equinox, that divine spark lives within you. If you don't see God outside of you, out in the world, know that it is living within you. And when you tap into it, you activate that. And you put that energy, you bring that energy to the table, and you put that in the world. And as you keep marching on, as you see, eventually they do come out of that cave. And as they experience the grief, that finally they're out of the cave and they can materialize and they can experience the grief of that experience. They now have gotten more free and color has come into their life. That old version of themselves is no longer. Break the chain, ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. I mean, yeah, it's tropically Scorpio season, but it's also like All Saints Day, Dia de los Muertos, All Hallows Eve, all that stuff is just happened. And it's about honoring the ancestors. It's about giving thanks to those who have come before us to light the way for us, you know. And the reality of the situation is like, we inherit some ancestral things that are great and some things that are not so great. And I think it's just with the South Node retrograde in Scorpio, in the 6th house of healing. It's really important to consider what is not serving us to keep on holding on to and keep on harping on about. Lay it to rest. If your parent yelled at you because their parent yelled at them, that's an ancestral pattern that you need to break the chain of. You don't need to continue that on. You don't need to. and you did not like it, don't do it. It's that simple. The ever unfolding rose, cracked open, it's happening for you, not to you. So what I get the sense that pile 3, you're in a dark night of the soul because you are, like, the ever unfolding rose I associate with the heart chakra anyway, like rose quartz. I get the sense that you have been going through this really hard time. It has been very humbling. It has brought you to your knees, to a space of surrender. And that is not because God is punishing you. It is not because the universe is punishing you or teaching you a lesson. It is because you're being given the opportunity to transcend these old patterns and arise into new paradigms. Like okay, imagine you swam to the bottom of the ocean to get to a treasure box, but like you're running out of air as you're trying to swim, and if you don't hurry up and start swimming faster, you are going to drown. But you can't swim faster because you have all of these jewels in your pockets. Is it worth it to keep the jewels and die? And drown and die? Or is it more worth it for you to let go of some of those jewels and swim to the surface and be able to like breathe and live beyond that experience? I mean, imagine having to swim to the bottom of the ocean to get this treasure is already a journey in and of itself. Is that journey gonna all be for naught because you are greedy and hoarding things? Hoarding has been really coming up a lot lately. Hoarding emotions, hoarding feelings, hoarding trauma, because we want to be the victim. And I'm sorry, pile 3, sometimes like people are not ready for my readings because, you know, spirit can really read the F out of people, and it is not pleasant. It is not nice for them. But yeah. Is that what you want? Or would you rather just let go of some of those jewels and like be able to enjoy what bounty you did get? When in reality, the experience is such a massively important part of that story and what you learned along the way, because those are the things that are going to imprint on your spirit and go with you when you leave, when you transition. Sorry, I live in Brooklyn. So if you hear that music, it's because like someone's driving down the street. Yeah, this time has been happening to get you closer and closer to what it is you want and need. So it's really good and important to lean into it and like be of service to yourself. Ask yourself how you can be of service to your healing. I would say be so gentle with yourself because you're going through it. You're going through it. Be so gentle with yourself. Be so compassionate with yourself, especially past versions of yourself who didn't know any better. This is why this is a hidden influence, because it's like, why is all this stuff happening? I don't understand. It's because you are being initiated into these higher realms, into this ascended masterdom, so that you can be a light unto others to lead them out of the darkness, so that one day all of us can stand on the shore. Because unfortunately, you know, I had my first great awakening when I was 18, as I said. And a lot of people were still asleep then. And a lot of people are still asleep now that I'm 26. But a lot of people are awake too. And sure, it may have felt lonely being in those spaces and feeling like I was being persecuted or like people didn't understand me. But I just like But that's not what mattered. What mattered is that I was living my truth, and that I was living in my truth, and I was lighting that up for other people. And that being said, like, me living in my truth allows other people to live in their truth. And that's me paying it forward, because people lived in their truth so that I could live in mine. And it's not easy to go against the system. It's not built like that, but it's really necessary. And I promise you that it's going to feel really good when you get to the other side, pile 3. That's really all I have for you all. Just to think of like more intentions. How can I show up for my healing today? What do I need to show up for my healing? What do I need to create a sanctuary? Because you, especially going through situations like this, is enough to really teach you, like, I need to have a safe place where I can go to recalibrate and to recharge. What can I do to make that a reality for me? And, you know, slowly but surely give that stuff to yourself. Whatever it takes is whatever it takes. But it's so necessary and so important. You don't need to resent the process if you can be of service to, like, you know that it happens. So next time it happens, you need to just be prepared. Spirit, are there any other messages that you want to give to pile 3? You are so loved. You are so cared for. You are held. You are respected. There are people who are rooting for you that you don't even know are rooting for you. Like, you got this. So don't even trip on it. Like, turn this upside down. I mean, get this right. Don't resent the process. Let go of whatever is making it heavy for you. Because when we get to this painful part, it means that there's something that's got to be let go of. So let go of whatever is like making it heavy for you and step more into what is making it light, so that you can ascend into this realm and out of this dark space. Allow that Kundalini awakening, allow that divine femininity, and like whatever's coming down. I also feel like this speaks about the Akashic records, the river of life, the flow of life. Whatever energetic blockages, you may want to go get acupuncture. You may want to start doing like Tai Chi or something like that. Exercise, just general exercise, yoga, like, but I feel like some of you have blockages because of bad habits that you're using to dim your light, because you're just so tired of the awakening process that you're just like, I'm going to shut off and I'm going to ignore this and I'm not going to be present for it. But that's not going to help, because you're going to have to keep on coming back and going through the same lesson until you finally learn it. So, you know, ask for help. Soften again. I love you all truly and deeply. Thank you so much for watching this pick a card. This is my first time doing this, so they will get better, but I just want to say thank you for watching, and I will talk to you later.